Hey everyone, it's Alisha and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book review, and this will be my first of many book reviews or audio reviews about Graves' disease and hyperthyroidism. And I would love you to join this journey with me by also purchasing these books, because I'm going to be letting you know very soon how you can connect with me and how we can all be discussing these books slash audios together. So please try and get the books or audios that I'm actually reading. So the first book review and the book I would like you to get so we can connect, this is the book, and it's called Natural Treatment Solutions for Hyperthyroidism and Graves' Disease. So overall, this is a really, really great book, guys. It's a lovely book. Because it's got so much information. This man has really done a lot of study. His name is Eric, but he's actually like a doctor, a natural healthcare professional. He deals with natural health. There's certain names for it I can't really pronounce, so forgive me. But so I'll say he's a natural healthcare professional. And he himself had Graves' disease and hyperthyroidism, so he has his own experience as well, and he has been cured from it. So he done natural methods to cure himself from this autoimmune disease. And what I would say is the whole point of this book is that knowing that there is alternative methods, because you don't want to go through radioactive iodine, like you don't want your thyroid taken out. You don't want to go through these experiences. So these books that people create, especially someone like Eric, is to help people to avoid having to go through those types of treatments. That should be the last resort, having radioiodine. So overall, it's a great book. As I said, for me, this book is a guide. He gives you a lot of different treatment methods, and he shares different factors that could possibly cause autoimmune response in the development of Graves' disease and hyperthyroidism. But why I say it's a guide is because you do have to do your own analysis on your life to kind of find out what the possible cause can be. It's not going to be necessarily all these different things that he's sharing. So you're going to have to do your own research by either, just looking into your life, looking at what he's saying and seeing what relates to you. And also maybe doing some testing, which he does recommend in the book. But what he does suggest is generally consulting a competent natural health care professional to help you to identify what the issues and the causes may be and what the treatment protocol should be going forward. So even though you may have your own analysis, he does recommend that seeing a natural healthcare professional can really help you to really pinpoint what caused it and what you could do moving forward. So this book is a good guide, and I think, as he's saying, I believe it should be used alongside seeking a natural healthcare professional if you choose to use one. So different factors that he describes in this book include inability to handle stress and chronic stress, problems with digestion, environmental toxins, pathogens, and genetics. I'm going to give you 4 examples from these factors, and I'm going to use my personal experience as well in this description to give you a bit more understanding of what he's saying. So the number one thing is inability to handle stress / chronic stress. So what he did say is that there's numerous studies that show a strong correlation between stress and autoimmune responses that are in the development of Graves' disease and hyperthyroidism. So what he says is that stress it affects the adrenal glands. From studies it's shown that it actually puts stress on the adrenal glands. So stress puts stress on the adrenal glands. I know that's a bit of a tongue tie. So he's saying that your life events and that type of stress can put physical stress on your body. It can put tension and strain on your body and your organs. he was saying that the body wasn't designed to handle stress for a prolonged period of time. Yes, the body was designed to handle a certain degree of stress, because stress is like a, in my idea, from what I've researched, it's like a response to certain things. So your body responds by feeling a bit tense, by being a bit shocked, by feeling a bit uncertain. But if you're going through that experience on and on and on and on, what he's basically saying, that's not really good for the body based on research. So it's a risk. So he said it's not he cannot say that it's a main cause. However, he will say it could play a huge role. And I didn't understand that, so I had to pray. This is a new thing that I've been doing. And later on in the series, in one of my videos, I will share to you how this came about. But recently, I've been really, praying and asking the Holy Spirit, because I'm a Christian, to reveal and guide me through my health journey. So when I'm reading certain things and it's not clear to me, rather than me feeling uncertain and really going through anxiety and trying to work it out, I say, Holy Spirit, teach me. So I was doing some studying. He told me to study it, and about how stress can play a huge role. And what it was saying is 8 in 10 people, based on studies, a certain study that was performed, before they had an autoimmune disease. As I said, autoimmune disease is not just Graves' disease, there's various different ones. They found that there was 8 in 10 people that also had a stress-related disorder. That could be things like anxiety disorder, as an example. So what I believe he was trying to say, so I don't believe he explained it very well. So how I will explain it is that when he says that he cannot say that stress is a main cause, he's saying that he cannot say that stress was the main reason why these 8 out of 10 people had Graves' disease, that had stress-related disorders. However, what he's saying, because 8 out of 10 people had a stress-related disorder and had an autoimmune disease, it shows that how it plays a major role, that it definitely is a part of the development of Graves' disease in most people. So he cannot say it's the main thing, that it's what triggered the whole thing, but he's saying it definitely plays a part in most people. So that's what I think he was trying to explain. If you don't really understand what I'm saying, as I said, we're going to have some discussions in the future, but just drop a comment in the comment section and I will try to talk you through it a bit more. So my personal experience, I've had many different experiences of going through stress. As I said, stress is a response to a life event. It's not the actual life event. So it's a stressful life event. He doesn't really explain the different things that can cause this stress. So one of the things that can cause stress is trauma. So going through a certain life event can make you go through trauma, can make you go through pain, can make you feel lost, feel tragic, like a tragedy. Go through a tragedy, you can go through a sense of pain and wound. It can wound you, that's the word. It can wound you. Certain life events can wound you. It can do something to you that really brings a deep wound into your heart. So that can cause, as he said, can cause stress on the body. Or, that can cause stress for you if you're having to feel this pain all the time. Your body can start to make you feel fearful. That feeling, that, emotions of, feeling crying, seeing the memories, having memories of a certain event. If that comes to your mind on a regular basis, it can make you feel a bit fearful and afraid. it can make you feel anxious, and that could then make you feel stressed. That can make you feel stressed, because you don't know what to do. So yeah, I would say my personal experience was from at the age of 10 or 11, I developed acne based on I was going through puberty, and it brought a pain, it brought a trauma. To see these spots on my face was traumatic because they look very pretty to me. So it started to make me feel pain. As I said, I've gone through a lot of life experiences, but this is the one I'm choosing to express. It did make me go through a lot of pain. I didn't feel good about myself. And, mum, she works actually for Mary Kay. She sells Mary Kay products. She's been doing that for many years. And so she'll be giving me these cleansers and stuff, and I'll be using them religiously, I'm telling you. And from the age of 10 or 11, you imagine you're using cleansers, you're using masks, different stuff. And I didn't even know what I was doing, if I was actually helping the situation or making it worse. But I was trying everything I could. I tried so many different products, so many different things, because I didn't feel good about it. And I think the age of 15, what happened to me was that I got a cream from the doctor for acne, and I used it all over my face, where you're not supposed to do it. You're supposed to only put it on the spots itself. But I suppose I had so many spots that I accidentally spread it and rubbed it in on my face. I don't know if you can notice. Let me see, I'm going to go close to the camera. I developed two dry patches here, and the skin was peeling. And obviously I will be peeling it off. And I think I used some cream for it, and it made it even more sore. And I had these two black, when I mean black, not as black as my shirt, but it was black patches on my face. And that was another trauma for me, to be walking around like that, and people saying, what happened to your face? People ask me, what happened to your face? Even now you can feel like, I feel a bit teary-eyed. I mean, that was like a big trauma for me. And yeah, I still have those marks now, but they faded out a bit. Anyway, at the age of 15, I went to, sorry, I banged my head. I went to this dance theatre place with my school. We watched this theatre show, and I came home that night and I fell asleep, and I was going to sleep, and I kind of felt like some sensations in my skin, like something's crawling in my face, and like something's pulling in my skin. I said, what is this? So I was doing some research, and I couldn't really find the right answers for many years. I was searching, and I went to the doctors, and they were like, it could be in my head, they can't see any problem. Anyway, I think in the end, in the last few years, I found out that it's called something called formication, and it's to do with the nervous system, and it's to do with there's different causes. They say it could be even from infections, but I believe with me it was to do with anxiety. I was going through anxiety. It was a constant everyday thing. I'm still thinking about my face. I was always concerned about my face. It became like it consumed my life, trying to see what I can do to look beautiful, because I wanted to look beautiful. And I didn't feel having those spots on my face made me look beautiful. And not only that, it created hyperpigmentation marks. I had a lot of dark spots on my face. So, the combination of the two was not a nice experience for me. But anyway, as I said, so definitely I can relate to what he's saying, that stressful major life events and prolonged stress definitely, from my own experience, can affect your body, your adrenal glands, and it can cause an autoimmune response. Secondly, so he was saying the way you can cope with stress. He talks about coping with stress. I personally don't think you can just cope with stress. But definitely it's a good start, I believe. So yes, coping with stress is a good start. He talks about the importance of exercise, but he doesn't really explain it. Like, why do you exercise? You know, he talks about like things like having massages, having a positive attitude, drinking a lot of purified water, eating a lot of whole foods, and taking supplements. And he does talk about a lot about food in this book and diet. And what he does say is that based on studies, what happens is that when somebody takes a lot of refined foods, which is like processed food, sugary foods, any food that strips the nutrients out, so like white bread, white rice, the fiber and some of the whole grains are, taken out the food, so you're not getting the nutrients. So a lot of that, what he's saying is that you're not getting the fiber that you need and certain other nutrients that you need in your bodies, because obviously God created our body um with nutrients, and you need to basically keep feeding those nutrients with nutrients um, for the body to function. So, he was saying that, it's been proven in certain studies that there's a thing called insulin resistance that can happen when you basically, your blood sugar levels in the body can go high when people have too much sugar or refined foods. And this can possibly cause inflammation in the body, which also causes an autoimmune response. So overall, a compromised adrenal glands affect your immunity. So if your adrenal glands is being put under stress by going through stressful life events, if it puts tension in your adrenal glands, there is a risk of developing autoimmune responses. Or if you eat certain foods that can cause inflammation issues, it also can put stress on the body, So the next one he talks about, which I'm going to explain, is problems with digestion. So he talks about things like leaky gut, and he talks about things like malabsorption syndrome. He doesn't use that word, but that's the word. It's when basically you're not absorbing enough nutrients in the body. So this problem with absorbing nutrients in the body and having leaky gut, where basically there's things that are supposed to stay in your gut, if it's leaking into your immune system, it can possibly, cause autoimmune responses. And the reason why he says this is because the gut, he says, is connected to the immune system. Like, the immune system is dependent on the gut. So if you have an issue in the gut, it's most likely you're going to have an issue in the immune system. So that's why he's saying that it's important to understand that problems with digestion, it cannot just be overlooked. It needs to be looked into. So personally, in my experience, also last year I went for a MOT, a full body scan, and they were saying that they see there was some dysfunction in my gut, that I wasn't absorbing fats into my body properly. So they didn't mention anything about leaky gut, but from my research, there seems to be a strong link between leaky gut issues and malabsorption syndrome. So it's most likely I could have been affected by both of these symptoms. So what does he suggest to deal with digestive problems? As I said before in the previous example about stress, cutting out refined foods and increasing fiber intake. taking digestive enzymes. This could be things like taking probiotics, which I'm actually taking right now, because what he's saying is that while you're working on your diet and stuff, which can take a while to restore your gut. So he's saying it's good to take things like probiotics, which helps in creating good bacteria in your gut. So while you're working on your diet, your body may not, be producing enough of these good bacteria. So, it's good to take a supplement like the probiotics to help you in that meanwhile. So he talks about allergens and food sensitivity. So, when the gut is not working as well, what they say is that it could possibly cause people to be sensitive to certain foods like dairy and gluten. So it's good to try and eliminate these things while you're working on your gut, or at least try to reduce it. He talks about liver detox. So he talks about like maybe going through a certain program for a certain amount of days, you cut out certain foods. But he doesn't suggest this as the first thing to do, because a lot of people wouldn't want to cut out certain foods completely. So the main place to start is just trying to cut out refined foods and just trying to eat more healthily. So before you maybe like cut out certain foods or completely. So as I said, the immune system is linked to the gut. So think of the immune system and the gut as one. The third thing is about genetics. So genetic predisposition or genetic markers, he's saying, is not the cause of autoimmune diseases. But what he's saying is that if you have in your genetic marker, you have family members that have had a similar, had the same autoimmune disease, you're more susceptible to it. You're more likely, it's more possible for you to develop these issues. So what he was saying, study shows that autoimmune disease is roughly 30% based on genetics and 70% based on environmental factors, which is like the two other factors I mentioned previously, like stress and digestion, and all the other ones I said at the beginning of this video that I didn't really go into detail in. So he said that somebody said that while genetics may load a gun, it's environment that pulls the trigger. So yeah. And the last one I'm going to mention is pathogens. So there's numerous studies that suggest that viruses, bacteria, and other pathogens can lead to the development of autoimmune responses. So from my personal experience from a child, I suffered with sinusitis, and I didn't know that it was that, but mom has talked about issues where I had a lot of phlegm and mucus as a baby when I was drinking milk, and growing up I had a lot of issues like having red eyes, having watery eyes, especially when it's windy. I sing, so from singing I used to have issues a lot where my voice will go hoarse, and I suffered with it very bad. So cutting out dairy really has helped me. Not having too much dairy has helped me to manage any symptoms of sinusitis, but I do at times get the head pressure, the eye pressure, and the pressure in the face still at times. So as he's saying, it could be possibly that having this condition from a child could have possibly contributed to having an autoimmune response. So I'm not sure how it all connects, but there's obviously some connection somewhere, which I'm trying to work out and figure it out. Yeah, so this is a great book. As I said, he mentions so much things in the book that I just cannot cover in this video. He mentions so much in this book, so you have to definitely get this book, and we can discuss it, in the future, as I said, I'm going to speak to you in the future on how we can connect more and discuss this book and other books together. So yeah, overall, this is a very, very good book. I recommend this book. And, the last thing, he does mention how blood tests can be negative sometimes. It's not always the best way of testing for sicknesses and diseases. He's saying that people could be walking around with symptoms that they don't not symptoms, people could be walking around with diseases and they don't know because they're not experiencing symptoms. So that's why he recommends certain other tests that you can take. So, do read this book. I hope you enjoyed this book review. I'll be coming with more book reviews and audio reviews in future videos. But if you do not know, I do sing and write music. So I would like you to listen to one song that I released a few years ago. So I'll put the link below on how you can find this music. And I'm also going to share the links to my social media pages. So thank you so much. And so I see you next time.